If you've been around this community for many years, you're familiar with the Carl Perkins Center for the Prevention of Child Abuse Circles of Hope telethon that airs every August. And you may be well familiar with the Cerebral Palsy telethon that for many years was done to benefit the West Tennessee Cerebral Palsy Association. Well, part of that, one of the gentlemen who was affiliated with that for a long, long time, he used to do a thing called Concert for a Friend, and now he's reviving that once again to honor one of the great musicians who played on so many of those telethons, Charley Baker. I got Wes Henley with me here, longtime friend. Wes, it's so good to have you here.
Steve, thank you so much, man. Let me first start by saying how much I appreciate you having me on to talk about this. And I have to say that Union's support for this community is just beyond words. It always has been. What a great institution. And I must also say that Lambuth, we should be very proud of Lambuth, and Dr. Jeremy Tubbs. The concert that we're putting together, I could not do without Jeremy Tubbs. He's been absolutely wonderful. The concert series we used to do, of course, Carl Perkins was the friend in those days, and we started it before his death and continued it several years after his death. We did it at a local nightclub. And it grew into quite an event. We raised a good bit of money for the Carl Perkins Center to help these families all over West Tennessee. A few years after Carl died, that venue closed down, and it was difficult to find another venue, and there wasn't really anything appropriate because we had kind of outgrown it anyway. And we discovered some disturbing news, some health problems of a good friend of mine, Charley Baker, who anyone who's done any kind of volunteer work in this community knows that when there's a need for someone to come play some music at a benefit to help some kids or to help anyone, basically, Charley's one of the first people to raise his hand and say, hey, I can help out with that. Do you need me to do anything? He's one of the first volunteers to jump up and say that. And one of the most underrated guitarists, and the reason I say that is because he never touts himself. Never, never. He's a very private, sort of behind-the-scenes kind of person. He never wants to just jump out there in the front. It's just not in his nature. Yeah. I remember so well the first time I ever met Charley. It's been 40 years ago now. It was 1978 or 79. I was teaching guitar at Jayco's Music, downtown Jackson. I don't know how many folks will remember that. I know you do. Yeah, definitely so. You're at least as old as I am. I'm older than you are, and I do remember Jayco's, yeah. But I taught guitar there for a time. I taught some advanced lessons. My patience wouldn't allow me to teach beginners. No offense to beginners, but it's very trying. But in walked this fellow one day. Charley is a slight man, small in stature, huge in heart. He's awesome. We were instant friends. He wanted to transition from acoustic guitar. He'd already been playing for some years and wanted to transition from acoustic guitar to electric guitar. And I helped him do that. We got off on a good foot there and remained very close friends all these years. And I treasure his friendship. So I recently got to thinking about what I could do to just celebrate my friendship with Charley and our special relationship. And I thought, you know, it's time to revive the Concert for a Friend. They have this beautiful theater at Lambuth, and the Hamilton Performing Arts Center is a wonderful venue. And I thought, you know, I've developed a good relationship with those folks the last few years, and I think I'm just going to ask him if it's even possible. And Jeremy Tubbs was all over it instantly. He was like, absolutely, we're doing that. Fantastic. We'll make it happen. And it's been yes all along the way. All right, it's February 21st. And February what time 21st, of night will that be? At 7 o'clock. And let me mention, it's a free concert. This is a totally free concert. This is not a fundraiser or a pity party, any of that kind of stuff. And I posted something to that effect recently. This is just a celebration of our friendship and Charley's friendship and relationships with other musicians from the area. And with the community. And with the community in general. We'd love for anyone who wants to come out, to come and enjoy some great music by some of the very best singers and musicians this area has to offer. What kind of music would people see, particularly those who have not lived here for a long time? What kind of music will they expect? Oh, it's a hodgepodge. we've got new and old. Of course, I'm going to perform. I'm going to do a couple of special songs for Charley. that I know he will enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't know that he'll be able to attend. If he does, fine. If not, we're going to videotape the entire
Right.
thing and make it available. And Paula Bridges has agreed to perform. Lauren Pritchard has contacted me about performing. And we don't have commitments from everybody yet, but I feel pretty solid that those two are going to be there. Jupiter Stone, a local group that is really making some noise. Those guys are just tremendous. I've asked the girls from the group Hers, the rock group Hers, Anna and Sarah, to come do a song with myself and Jupiter Stone, a very, very special song just for this event. I don't want to spoil it. It's a terrific surprise, but I promise everybody's going to be on their feet cheering. Tyler Goodson is going to perform. A group that I'm really become fond of recently called Hot Wired. Ben Hale, Will Dillon, and his brother Will and Dylan Young.
Okay.
Those guys are tremendous players.
Well, this is a Thursday night, February 21st at 7 o'clock. And as you say, there is no admission charge for this.
None at all. We are going to accept donations, and the money will be held in a 501c3 and a tax-exempt thing, a charitable entity. Will hold the money if we raise anything, and it will be for Charley's wife's disposal as she sees fit, if needed. They may not need it. The insurance and everything may be fine, and that's what we're hoping, that everything's covered there. But just in case it isn't, sometimes treatment can be very expensive.
Can be.
But if it's not needed, it will go to the Carl Perkins Center or perhaps the Kirkland Cancer Center. Charley's wife will make that decision when she needs to make that decision.
Well, Wes, I remember so many days in this particular studio or others throughout the community when we gathered on those Sunday afternoons to do telethons, and Charley would be in the room, and we'd always have a running battle as to whether he was going to play Freebird during the course of those telethons.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly his favorite song.
No,
it sort of gets overplayed.
That's why we always had that conversation. But I want to echo what you have said, because you're talking about one of the most selfless individuals, and I think something that many people don't realize is how many young musicians that he has taught. And you go to his Facebook
There's
page
no
and
telling
you can
how
see.
many students, right,
Yeah.
that he has himself taught and brought into the art in a way that I have to say is very tasteful and very kind. Charley is a jewel.
All right, Hamilton Performing Arts Center on the campus of the University of Memphis-Lambuth, February 21st at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, free concert.
Wes, as always, it's great to see you, and I appreciate you being here to talk about this most important event in our community.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Wes Henley joining us about Concert for a Friend, coming up February 21st, 7 o'clock on the campus of the University of Memphis-Lambuth in the Hamilton Performing Arts Center. And remember, when news breaks out, we break in right here on West Tennessee Today on Facebook.